We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
What's up?
It's like those, you know, like when you're coming back from like a news break and it always looks like they're sitting there doing work at their desk. They've got like the fake papers with no actual writing on it, but they're straightening them out like they're, you know, getting their notes ready.
Yep. Wait, you caught me. Darn it. I was looking at my records.
Wow. Those are actually records. I don't think some of our, if there's any youth watching the show, they may not even know what those are.
I'll be honest. Nope.
They'd be like, why them dinner plates got holes in the middle? How you doing, my friend?
Hey, we got Alex tuning in.
What's up, Alex? I did not see Alex in the comments section.
He's
How you
a
doing,
ninja.
Alex? He's what?
He's a ninja.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh, there
exactly.
he is. What's up, Alex? How you doing today? Today, my friend, we have a very interesting topic, a topic that I think a lot of people feel like maybe they know something about it. Maybe they feel like they've seen it somewhere, but you know, I think it's one that's easily misunderstood.
Yes.
Well, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Oh, definitely. My personal opinion is that we'll see Hollywood do their take on things, like
Right.
this topic, Tourette's, and we just think of it being one way. Tourette's affects people in many different ways. It's not just simply making them say inappropriate words,
Right.
or swear words. It can affect their motor skills. It can affect various different things.
Right.
So it's got more of a kind of like a spectrum to it than people think.
Exactly. It's not just the saying the silly words. Some people, I mean, simply have tics. Some people, they're verbal tics. Some people, they're body
They're
tics.
silent, or their body tics. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's not just one way that this presents itself. And I think oftentimes when we hear about Tourette's, you know, especially when we see it in movies, it's played for comedy and jokes.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate in a way, because then most people see people with Tourette's and don't take it that serious and treat
Right.
them like they're joking.
Right. And then, you know, sometimes a lot of people, because it is a misunderstood thing, you know, they think it's something you can just turn off, or like, well, why do you have to do that? Or you're just saying those things because you want to say them.
Exactly. And unfortunately for the people that experience it, they can't just turn it off.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, like always, let's start with our definition here, so we're all on
You
the
got
same page of what this thing is. Oop, wrong definition. So, okay. So we don't have our definition this week. I thought, meh. Okay, so that was last week's. You want to pull up a definition real quick? You have?
Give me a moment here. I will. I will use this browser. Thankfully, I've got several.
You're more tech savvy than I am.
Why do I always want to put 2 R's in there? Tourette syndrome. There we go. All right. What is Tourette? And I'm going to switch over the screen so you can see actually the source that I'm looking at, because I feel kind of funny with just... There we go.
Ooh, that's hard to see.
Can I close this? Thank you. Tourette syndrome is one type of tic disorder. Tics are involuntary, repetitive movements and vocalizations. They are primarily They are the primary symptoms of a group of childhood onset neurological conditions known collectively as tic disorders and individually as Tourette syndrome, TS. Persistent chronic motor or vocal tic disorder and provisional tic disorder. These three tic disorders are named based on the types of tics present, motor, vocal, phonic, or both, and by the length and time that the tics have been present. That's
Wow.
the basics of it. Then it goes into
So,
diagnosis and
so it
things like
sounds
that.
like one of the things that I pulled from there is says it's child onset, right? So
Yeah,
it's something that happens to people in their youth. Okay, it's defined. We were saying that it was defined by verbal tics, physical.
yeah,
Um,
verbal, phonic, or both, or motor.
mhm. Right. Okay, so just to give and with I feel like that definition, it might be a little hard for people to understand. So we're gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
we're gonna
Let's see. Let me look it up this way here. Tourette syndrome for dummies. I'm looking that one up right now. Hey, um,
I fall
y-
into that category, so I'm not offended at all.
so, um, okay, let's go on this one here. That's the same place I was just at. Hey, um,
Well, you know what? How about this? While you are looking for that, I'm gonna roll the first of our clips,
that works. That
and then
works.
that gives you about a minute to see if you can figure that out. All right.
You got it.
Okay, so this is our first movie. Now, again, if there is anybody in the audience that is somebody who deals with Tourette's or suffers from Tourette's, I do not want you to feel like we are making fun of people who deal with
No,
this.
definitely
We're
not.
just trying to show you what is existing in popular culture, what everybody else sees when they're watching movies, or the examples we're given. So, this is from a movie called Not Another Teen Movie. Here we go.
New girl.
Hi, I'm Sandy Sue, and I just want to say that it is simply swell to meet all of you.
Peachy, I assume you brought a routine?
Oh, you betcha. Give me an H. Give me a U. Give me a giant pussy-licking ass fucker cock shit. I'm sorry. That was my Tourette's.
I don't know about her. Okay. Let's get one thing straight. This is not a cheerocracy. I am the cheer-tater. I make the cheer decisions around here, and I will deal with the cheer consequences. Now, if there are no more cheeruptions, we can cheer-tin you.
Group stick figure mask. Comfy.
She'll cheer do.
Okay. I brought up another people ask one.
Okay, great.
It says Tourette syndrome, TS, is a condition of the nervous system that causes people to have tics. This sounds a little less clinical.
Okay.
Tics are sudden twitches, movements, or sounds that people do repeatedly. People who have tics cannot stop their body from doing these things. For example, a person might keep blinking over and over. That gives you a little bit more of a simpler, I guess, easier way to
It's
digest
more digestible.
it. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's one of the important things that in there is that this is something that people cannot control. And in fact, I've read, and it's my understanding that some people can experience physical pain trying to actually control these tics because they're so embarrassed about maybe the situation that they're in. Maybe they're in a movie theater or something like that, and they're it's a quiet scene and they feel tics coming on and they're trying to control it. So there are physical feelings that can also go
Hey,
along with
Mezzo.
this.
Look who snuck in.
Hey, Mezzo, our fabulous director.
Yes.
So there can be physical pains that can also be associated with having these tics as well.
Definitely.
like I said, a lot of times in popular culture, it is presented. There was an episode that's really famous too of South Park. I don't know if you saw the one, and this is where I think some of the misconceptions.
I think I know which one you're talking about now. Yeah.
Right. So in that episode, Cartman finds out, he learns about Tourette's, and because Cartman is such a jerk in real life, he hears somebody that has Tourette's, and he thinks that they're able to just curse whenever they want to and say horrible things about people without having any consequences for
Exactly.
I've not watched SP much. What is SP?
South Park.
Oh, South Park.
You just said it, goof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only watched it. I've watched it maybe a handful of times, and that was one of the episodes I happened to catch
Right.
some of, and I was like, "Wow!" I didn't really know how to take that. I'm like, "What?"
Right.
Because they really go after everything in that show.
Right. Well, I mean that's Cartman's thing too, right? Is the
That
biggest
is Cartman.
jerk, the representation of the biggest jerk you could possibly meet.
Yes.
So it's not it's not something that you can control. But I think even in that episode, God, it's been so long since I've seen it, but I think he ends up like not being able to control it or something, right? Doesn't he?
I think
end up,
so.
Like,
I think
actually
he
getting it or something.
Yeah, I think he ends up experiencing not having control over it, and it freaks him out.
Right. So, as you can see, it's definitely nothing to play with. All right, we're going to roll another clip right here. And this is where we're going to do our 2-minute thing. Usually we divide our clips up, but this one's a little bit, I'd say a little more important. And John and I really like this one because we feel like it was a good representation of what Tourette's looks like.
Yeah, it's not poking fun at it. It's showing what some of it can be like. Not every experience of Tourette's, but at least this one. And it does a great job.
Exactly. And now I do want to warn you guys, it is a 4-minute and 23-second clip. So what we're going to try to do is, we didn't divide it up into 2 parts. So I'm going to run the first 2 minutes. Hopefully we won't go to black. If we go to black, don't worry, just stay on. It will be back in 2 minutes. John and I will just be sitting here talking to each other. Actually, we'll be talking because it'll still show up on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll still show up on the feed as normal.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
weird how
during
that
the
does it.
actual live part of it, it'll be black. But I promise you, it will come back. So if we go to black, just wait till we come back.
Exactly.
We should put that on a t-shirt. All right. Here we go. And this movie is called Front of the Class. I like this one.
Talk to your mom about it. She's fine with it. She said, I said, stop it! Just stop it!
You see, I couldn't really blame Dad for losing it. My tics drove him nuts because, like my teachers, he had no name for my strange behavior. Except insufferable. But what would take a normal person an hour took me 2 or 3. Trying to concentrate brought out the worst in my constant companion.
Brad, come up here, please.
What?
I know you think you're the class clown, but I've had it with you.
Can't. What? Help! What? Help it!
That's what you always say. I don't want to hear any more excuses. Your classmates are trying to study.
What?
And your clowning makes it impossible.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to them.
I'm sorry. That you can't study because of me.
And you promise never to make any more silly noises ever again.
Promise I won't make any more silly noises ever again. Sorry I caused you so much trouble, Mom.
I want you to read something in this book I found. It's a medical book that might explain why you make all those noises.
Keep reading, Mom.
Read.
Tourette's syndrome.
For example, say your mother bakes a pie. She cuts the... Going. Just go to the principal's office.
What do you think a school's for, Brad?
Alrighty.
Did I cut off in the right place?
Yes, you did.
All
Yes,
right.
you did.
Woo! I
Yes,
didn't
you
mess
did.
something up.
I'm just getting I was just letting you see where we were right there. We'll be
Yeah.
getting right on with the rest of that in just a moment. But
Not
we
a
want to talk a
problem.
little bit about what we saw there.
First off,
I didn't mean
man,
to have that like that.
that poor kid, especially when this movie is taking place, as you can see, they said this was at a time when there wasn't a name for it wasn't understood.
It was just on the cusp of finding out about it. It looks like.
Right. Obviously, some people knew about it because it was in a medical journal that the mom was able to read, right?
Yes.
But it wasn't a commonly known thing. It
No.
wasn't something that people, in the everyday life, like you and I, might have
That
known
we would
about.
know what it is. Yeah.
Right. And you could see, the frustration on the father. And I just felt for that little boy. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't mean to do these things, what I
No.
mean? And he honestly sympathizes and feels bad for the people that have to deal with the consequences of what he deals with.
Exactly. Which shows an amazing amount of maturity for someone so young when you think about it.
Right.
It shows a lot of their self-awareness too, in that and where they kind of fit within things.
Right.
And I mean that's how a lot of the stuff I was doing as a kid and stuff made me feel in ways, not Tourette's wise, but I was playing grandmaster level chess at 2 years old, 2.5 years old.
Right.
I mean, you don't hear about kids just playing junior grandmaster level chess with adults.
Right.
So, oddball things and stuff that you just do. In this case, this kid here's uncontrollably making noises and ticking. And
Right.
he's standing there in front of the teacher, and you can see the kid's face of disappointment in himself. And
Yes.
and the teacher's like, oh, you're just clowning. You're not even paying attention to the fact that the kid is just as not happy about this whole thing. But the teacher doesn't get it. Like you said, this is something that the general public at the time didn't realize was a thing yet.
Right. And
So-
it absolutely broke my heart. Like, it was such a small and simple thing, but when she said, and he's, like, and what, and, and promise that you'll never do it again. How do you make a promise on something that you were going to do again?
Exactly. It's like,
he has no control of it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would think that any teacher, at least with one eye half open, would realize that this kid is not doing this on purpose, and that the kid is being honest when they say, I can't help it.
Right.
I don't know. It's just so disheartening to see that sort of treatment of them. But at the same time, when people are ignorant of certain things, they behave in really not so good ways.
Right.
But you would think common decency, common sense would just kick in there and say, I don't feel right treating this child as if there's some sort of criminal and that sort of thing. The one time I was called up like that in front of class was when I was spelling my name. And the teacher said, oh, you can't have your name spelled Jon. It's got to be Jonathan or Johnny. And I'm like, no, it's just Jon. It's not short for anything. And I had to write hundreds of times John over and over again on the chalkboard because of something I had no say over when I was named.
Right.
These kids with Tourette's or other special needs like that.
Right.
Like
Mezzo says, it's one of the reasons it's so important to educate.
Precisely.
Right.
Precisely.
There are so many things that some people are going through. My son, I love her to death. Okay, my best friend growing up, his mother created the first integrated special needs preschool in the county that I live in Sloan
Wow.
County. Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
She built a program called the Me Too program. And what it was it was the first integrated program. So it was the first time they didn't just take special needs kids and just put them off in their own classroom. This was a classroom of half typically developing children and half special needs. And it was set in a preschool setting. She was a preschool teacher, but the idea was for children from the very beginning, from the time that they're 3, 4, 5 years old, to see that there are other people with other challenges.
See, that's brilliant.
And to learn to be accepting of it, not that they're different. That's just how John plays. John plays differently than I play.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
See, wow, that's so cool to know that other people, where I grew up in my environment, where I grew up, I just had all of these people around me. You got the typical, hey, Joe, you had the you had the different needs or special needs and stuff like. And I never saw anybody as different. I just saw them as all my friends.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
so I just grew up accepting of all these different things without even knowing that.
Right.
That, you know, but when I went to school, it was in first and second grade that I was singled out the most, wore a dunce cap and everything, was locked in a closet, and stuff like that. And in third grade, when they kicked me out of the typical school and put me into it was like 75 or 80% special needs kids at this school, but it was integrated with typical kids as well. And it was, I don't know, third through fifth grade was awesome. I loved the teachers there. They were my favorite. And they're the ones that made me want to be involved with teaching in some way, shape, or form, even if I couldn't be a teacher.
Right.
I just respected them so much. People like yourself, you know. Thank
you. Mezzo says, I worked in a classroom setting like that for the city of Fairfield, which is where exactly this was. This was for the city of Fairfield.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Because Daniels is
special
the name
ed.
of the school.
That's what they called it. I was put in special ed classes.
Right.
You know.
So this program was called the Me Too program.
I love that.
And my son, I had enrolled him. My son was typically developing, but I enrolled him into this classroom.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, because I just thought, what a great opportunity. Because
exactly.
a lot of times,
it is an opportunity.
Even if you see people that have special needs, a lot of time, okay, let's say you have a school of 1,000 kids, but you only have maybe 5 or 6 special needs kids throughout the whole school.
Exactly.
I mean, severely special. I'm not just talking about things that you can't really notice, but
no.
If there's only that many dissipated throughout the whole school, you may never have any interactions with a person with special needs. What I liked about this program is it forced all these kids to kind of work together and to realize that there were people that had different needs, and it didn't make them any better or worse. It just made it different. That's all.
That's awesome. Let's see. Joe is saying he worked for the COF as a preschool teacher assistant. That's awesome.
In a class setting, and yeah, it sounds like Mezzo. You probably went through exactly the same system I did. I was I did my I can't remember what it's called. It's like undergraduate work, but.
That's Mezzo, not Joe. Sorry, I got to put my glasses on.
It's all good. God, I can't remember what it's called. When I was getting my teaching credentials, before you could graduate with your credentials, you had to go and spend a semester at another school and learn their systems. It was like an off-campus thing. So I did that over at TC McDaniels, which was where my friend's mom started this program. I didn't work for her. I worked in a different classroom. But
that's awesome.
Was at the same exact school.
That is so awesome.
And her program was such a success that they brought it citywide.
Well, for the schools that are here where I live in Zionsville, in fact, I think it's like that throughout much of Indiana, but Zionsville schools, they integrated the same thing. They have special needs classes, but then they have classes and stuff and activities and stuff where every student in the school has to interact with different special needs students. Every one of them has to get to know and become a friend of different special needs students and stuff. And it works so wonderfully because it exposes people to the different variants of being human.
Right.
It's just awesome. So I'm glad to hear that. Wow. I mean, someone that you knew and stuff started a program like that back in the day. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, this woman was an amazing woman.
That's so cool.
I want to say she started this in the late 80s or it was in the 80s that she had started.
See,
anyways,
because
let's get to the other half of that film clip. I totally forgot about it. We started talking. And this second half is it's got some endearing parts to it. So
let me know when you're ready and I'll hit the play.
Go ahead and rock that film.
What? Drop. Sorry, I keep disrupting the class.
You're not answering my question. What's a school for? To educate, isn't it?
What? Drop.
To use knowledge to wipe out ignorance. School's orchestra's having a concert this afternoon. You planning on going?
No, sir. My tics will ruin the music.
I want you to be there. Everybody just keep your seats for a minute, please. Thank you. Did you hear any noises during the quiet parts? Yeah, so did I. The person making those noises is Brad Cohen. Come on up here, Brad. You like making noises and upsetting people, Brad? Then why do you do it?
What? Because I have Tourette syndrome. Rob,
What's that?
it's a thing in my brain that causes me to make weird noises.
But you could control it if you wanted to, right?
No, sir. It's a sickness.
Well, why can't you just get cured?
There isn't any cure. I don't like making noises any more than you like hearing them. They're even worse when I get stressed, when you don't accept that I can't stop them. But when I feel accepted, then they're not so bad.
What can we do? And I mean everyone in this school.
I just want to be treated like everybody else.
Good job. Listen up.
What?
Exactly, Mezzo. Exactly. And look at that. We did not get copyright blocked or anything.
Woo!
Yes. We think we may have figured out one way of getting around that.
I'm teary-eyed already, man. Dude, that,
I'm telling you. Oh, I was editing that. I'm like, oh my God, you just called them out. Why would you do that, you jerk?
Right,
I didn't know what was coming up next. And then when he educated everyone, I started tearing up. I'm like, okay, who cut the onions? Okay, I'm going to have a room full of onions in my studio. And oh my God.
Hey,
Seriously?
Aubrey. Mezzo says, I like this guy. He wants to be able to experience everything like everyone else. He made sure everyone was educated about it too. He wanted the school to be a team and to help. I totally agree. When I first watched that clip and when the principal calls him out and says, I want you to be at the thing, and then he just looks so sternly, I was just like, oh man, what a jerk. I hate this guy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Thank you.
But, it turns out that, he had a bigger plan and purpose for the reason why he calls this little boy on the stage.
Yeah.
And the part when he says, I don't like making them any more than you like hearing them, that just absolutely broke my heart.
Oh, same thing.
Does anybody in the audience now? I know, unfortunately, I'm sorry. Let me say this differently. Fortunately, this is not a super common thing, so I don't know if anybody in the audience has experience with anyone who has dealt with Tourette's, or if they themselves have Tourette's. If so, we would love to hear about your experiences. We'd love to hear about what you do. Another thing I really liked in that clip was when the principal says, is there anything that we can do to help with that? And the boy says, when I feel accepted, it's a lot, it doesn't happen quite as much, right?
It's not as bad, not as severe.
It's not as bad. So that's such an important thing. Feeling accepted for whatever condition that you may have. Being around people that will accept you and love you for who you are.
Well, thank you, Aubrey. Thank you. We definitely.
Good.
Thank you.
Mezzo says, I knew exactly what he was doing. I was tearing up at the moment he said he wanted him there. Well, she's the smart one in the operation.
She's the smart one, definitely.
I didn't figure it out at that point. I just thought he was being a jerk.
I was like, what? Oh,
and then even too, like, I want to compare it to the first teacher that we saw in the first clip, right? Where she was like, and to the dad to some extent, they weren't bad people. They weren't, criticizing because they thought, they were just trying to be bullies. They actually thought this was something he could control.
Exactly.
And like she said, he was just being the class clown, right?
Exactly.
So I even feel bad for them a little bit as well, because God, how horrible would you feel to know that you've berated this child and
Exactly.
it's nothing he can control.
Exactly. It's like, oh gosh,
Right. He first connected with the other students about funny noises to get their attention and then spin it on them. Yes. Yes. Aubrey, Treneville the Fair. I'm so glad that disabled people are being seen as people and taken seriously as well. I've met people with Tourette's. Okay, so I'm guessing that Aubrey, in that case, you don't necessarily, you're not like you hang out with people. It sounds like you've met people, but not like it's a cousin or somebody that you've had close in your life where you know a lot about their experiences. I would love to hear about some people's experiences or what they've seen, if that is something.
Yes, it is completely out of their control.
Stiff person syndrome. You should do an episode of I've never heard of stiff person syndrome. Have you, John?
No. I mean, I get what's called I call it a rigor mortis spaz, where I have to either stand straight up or lay flat. But then as soon as I do that action unlocks the SI joint. Then I could go back to being bendable again.
Right. Well, you know what? Maybe that'll have to be our topic coming up next week. Something I've never heard of. All right, hey, you know what? And in fact, Mezzo's on our page anyways.
I mean, stiff things happen to guys, but
Wow. That's called morning wood syndrome. That's a whole different thing.
I know. That's a whole nother syndrome.
All right. Mezzo says, heartbroken as a parent. I would be heartbroken. Yeah, and that was another scene. Man, I feel like just in that 4 minutes you get so much juicy information about what it is they deal with. The mom, the mom was up there. She was in the dark room by herself trying to research whatever she could to try to help her son. And then that scene where she says, I think we found something. I couldn't imagine being a parent that had to deal with this. It's totally out of their control. Yeah, that's completely true. All right, let's go to, oh God, we're at the 35-minute point already. We're gonna go. We got 2 more clips here, and I think we should kind of go back to back with these as well. What do you think?
That works.
Okay, so we've got one again, and I do want. This is a good time to remind people that neither John and I are medical professionals. I have grown up. I have a background in early childhood education and human development. John has a background in life. In the School of Hard Knocks. So, there's a lot of things that John has experienced and does still experience to this day that is good contributors. So, we are not medical professionals. We do not want you tuning in here and saying that we're giving you medical advice.
There's my diploma.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for your service. Mezzo says, I know someone who has it, and Celine Dion.
I just keep that in my pocket.
Celine Dion came out diagnosed. Really? I'm wondering, does that mean that Celine Dion has had it this whole time?
Yes.
And we've just never seen it? Or
she's talked about it a little before, but she's not really. I don't think she really brought it up huge. I think recently she's just kind of really opened up about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
My cousin was thought to have Tourette's, but he has comorbidity issues, and I'm certain he doesn't have it, but has outbursts due to Asperger's and autism. Man, yeah, and that's another thing too. Some of these things look so much like other challenges. It's so hard to get a diagnosis on some of these things. Yeah, okay, so, and I apologize for not being more socially aware, but Aubrey says Celine is really opened up about it. Aubrey, do you know, is this something she's had her whole life? And so, like, this whole time she's had a musical career, she's had Tourette's, and we just have never seen it? And if that's the case, I'm wondering, John, do you remember, and I tried researching and I couldn't find it at all, But you remember last week I was talking to you about the documentary that I had seen about and in fact that's what started the whole thing about Tourette's. Us doing Tourette's this week was I'd seen a documentary where a guy had Tourette's, and when he was playing drums, he could speak typically. He just sounded like you and I. But when he would stop the drum movements with his hands, he would have the severe tics, with his body tics and with his vocal tics, that, like I said, when he was playing drums, he was able to knock it out. So I'm wondering if Celine Dion is kind of like that. Maybe when she's in the music mode, she doesn't have these tics and, other symptoms, because I was never aware of it. Hello, Bueller?
Oh, sorry. I just sorry about that. I just looked up Celine Dion here, and she has stiff person disease. I've never heard of that before in my life. So I tell people all the time, there's more disabilities or ways to be disabled than there will ever be people. So for all the billions of people throughout our entire history so far, there's many more ways to be disabled than there will ever be people. So this is what she's talking about here. Then it looks like I thought it was.
Is that what you're
Tourette's.
talking about, Mets? The stiff. What is it called? Stiff person.
Stiff person syndrome.
Huh.
I'd never heard of that one before.
So does she have stiff person syndrome as well as Tourette's, or are we confusing things? What do we got going on? Do you say anything about her with Tourette's?
That's what I'm looking for. I don't think. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yep, here it is. Because she has talked about her Tourette's in the past, little bits. Okay. I remember watching something where she talked about her Tourette's years ago, but not really going deep dive into it. But I thought that's what it was. Let's see. She has stiff person syndrome.
All right, up here, Met says, for any future viewers, just know that comorbidities are more than one illness in a person.
Yes.
Aubrey, I honestly don't know. Celine Dion is a rare disorder known as stiff person syndrome. The singer postponed her European tour schedule for 2023.
Oh, that's Billie Eilish. Okay. So I guess it's stiff person's syndrome that she has.
Tourette sing-along. Oh, wow. I don't know the details if she had it her whole life. I can do some more research for the future episode. No. We're packing this up in this episode. But thank you, Mets. It's incredibly painful and can be life-threatening if not cared for. Wow. Hey, let's do this one next week. This is a new one for me.
I don't know if we're going to find any videos on this, though.
Well, we might have to go with news clips or interviews or something.
Yeah. Wow. That is something. Wow. Whoever brought that up, thank you, because that is definitely something I never could have imagined even being possible. But wow.
Right.
Wow. Mind blown.
That makes me think of what is that? Lou Gehrig's disease.
There's Lou Gehrig's disease. Yep.
Isn't that the one where you slowly start losing control of your body? Like you starts by not being able to walk.
Yes.
And then it slowly takes over your body.
I met an actor that had that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He was a star on one of whatever channel All My Children is on.
Mm-hmm.
He was a star on one of those, and he had Lou Gehrig's. He had that disease, and oh man.
Yeah, you want to do stiff person syndrome next week?
Yes, we can definitely do that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm intrigued now. I want to know more about this. That's the cool thing about doing the show. The first 3 or 4 shows, I feel like we kind of like treaded on territory where I was at least comfortable. You know?
Yeah, we were comfortable with those. Now we're treading the stuff where
Depression,
it's like
got that. ADHD can talk about that all day long.
Oh yeah, what? Squirrel? Oh yeah.
We're starting to move into some new territory for me now, and I like it.
Yes.
Met says, I know someone who makes...
We're going to grow brain cells.
Right. My friend's dad had it. Oh, wow. And in any of these things, I would love to find people who actually deal with these syndromes that can come on and talk to us about their experiences. It's such a hard
It's a harsh disease. Yeah. Yes.
I want to say there was a great book. I want to say it was Lou Gehrig's disease that he had. Tuesdays with Maury. a very famous old, I say old now, but I want to say it's a book from like the 90s, but it was a real story about a guy who documents a college professor. He goes on in life, and then later on he meets his college professor, but he meets his college professor at the end of his days. And it's this guy who's a sports writer, but he flies back to his and spends every Tuesday with his college professor, and his professor tells him kind of like what the last part of life is about. And incredible read if you get a chance. It was on a bestsellers list for a long time. Tuesdays with Maury. Great read if you're.
Here's the actor that I got to meet. I got to meet him, and I helped make products for his fundraisers. And with my last business, I made products so that he could raise money to help fight this whole thing and help research it and stuff. It was Michael Zaslow. Yes, that was his name. That he had Lou Gehrig's disease, and oh man, he was in a wheelchair at that point, and he was a famous actor back in the day. And oh man, it was brutal on him, and he was there signing autographs and doing the best he could, and you could see it was just brutal on him.
All right. ALS is a motor neuron disease, is what Joe says.
Yeah. Yes.
By the way, I want to thank everybody who is in the chat room right now. I love having all of you people here and discussing these.
Yeah, and you guys are I love this. They're so talkative. I love that.
And this is exactly what this was about. We want to spread awareness about things, that, again, there's lots of topics that I don't know anything about. So I'm learning just as much as everybody else here. But on that note, let's go to a couple of our clips.
You got it.
That we have right now. Again, we're going to do the same format we did earlier. We're going to start with the funny one first. And then we'll go with the I guess the more serious one right after. All right, so here we go. See you guys on the other side.
Hello?
Is this Ruth?
Yeah, I'll be right down. God damn it!
Nice day, huh?
Yeah. Shove it up your ass!
Jeez, you okay?
I'm sorry. I have Tourette's syndrome, and it causes me to have these uncontrollable outbursts.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you get used to it. Ball sweat! Anus! Anus liquor! There are some places I can't go. Nipple biter!
What are you talking about? You barely notice it.
Scrotum! Sperm face! I just can't go near places like churches. Vulva! Elementary schools. Jizz trap! Pretty much anywhere. Fart! Dildo! Big titties! Shit! Shit whore!
Hey, let's put the top up. I'll put on the air conditioning.
You probably want to take me home, don't you?
No. Hey, I got an idea.
I'm nervous. There's a lot of people here.
Don't worry.
Crap muncher!
I know! He was definitely safe! Hey, what do you think about the other team?
Assholes!
Right! And their pitcher. I mean, stop stalling and throw it already.
Bull hair! Bull hair!
Yeah, bull hair. What we need is a strike hair. That other team's a bunch of high-priced babies.
Whores!
They called him out!
Scrotum liquor! This side! This side! This side! Deuce taught me to be comfortable with who I am. Thank you, Deuce. Yeah!
My God, I love them.
I love that. And I love that he came up with a solution for it, too.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, that's a comedy, right? We don't want to make light of what people really, really deal with. But I also think it's important for us to see how these things are presented and represented in popular culture and media, right?
Yes, because oftentimes we get shown one thing, the stereotypical, and we begin to think that's the normal, and then when we learn that's not the normal, and that's kind of
it can change our perception on things.
Sure
So
can.
that's just one thing. And then, another thing I really liked about that scene, even though it was played for jokes and for comedy, there was a spot where, like, where she goes, you want to take me home, don't you? And
Yeah.
She puts her head down like this.
Yes.
And you can see it's this moment of accepting of, like, this happens to me so often, and I'm so used to people just wanting to take me home.
She's used to rejection.
Exactly. I've just kind of come to accept that as my normal baseline. So yeah, but I love that he, I took her to her sports game where it's appropriate to like cuss and shout.
And then people started cheering the same thing she was saying. That was hilarious.
Right. Okay, so we've got one more little clip here, and this is more. This isn't from a movie. This is from like a news. Well, not news. It's David.
It's from a talk show.
Talk show. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Wait a minute. We have no audio. I'm going to try that again just in case.
Okay, there is audio. If it doesn't work, I can always pop over to the...
Yeah, I think we might need to pop over to the thing, dude.
All right, we're going to pop over to mine, and we will get the backup going here. One reason why I do it this way, it's you just never know when it's going to work or not. All right, and that is this one.
And okay, so we'll talk a little bit here while we're getting that set up. But as you can see, some people may know that Billie Eilish, she is a famous singer out right now, and we were just talking about Celine Dion, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of these people who are kind of like hidden in plain sight.
Yes, exactly.
But they don't necessarily speak on their disorders all the time. Then you have people like this Billy in this interview here where, they're brave enough to speak about what they deal with.
Yeah. In this, she will experience a tic that takes place in front of David Letterman.
Okay.
And the way he reacts to it, usually, if you remember David Letterman on his talk show back in the day, he was usually abrupt in people's faces and kind of rude.
Right.
He has changed. And this is really cool. This is called David Letterman, My Guest Needs No Introduction. And he does interviews with people. And so her tic takes place right here. Oh, did they get the audio on this?
Is that the original source material?
Let's see here. If I gotta, usually if it's audio, there will be something. Let's see. Did I get a warning that says audio?
As you can see there, while John is working on that, you probably saw her visual tic. I was in ed classes in high school, ED classes. I'm guessing that's special ed classes. Right there, you can see where she has her tic.
I apologize. There should.
That's it. You're fired.
Dang it! Well, I can pretty much tell you what the interview is going on here because I actually watched this happen.
You mean when it was occurring?
I watched it when it was first shown, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. So
you knew about this clip when we were researching. You had already known this one.
Yes, and I wanted to go to the cleanest, purest source that I could get, which was I found most of these things were at 360, 480, and I was like, darn, this is getting harder to find good quality video here, HD.
Right.
So basically, she ticks. He says, "What is it? A fly?" And she goes, "No. I got Tourette's." And he goes, "Is it okay if I ask about it?" And she goes, "That's fine." And she does this with her hand.
Right.
So now he's asking, wow. Yeah, basically, wow. And she's like, "No, that's okay." And she's explaining, yeah, it's something that usually would people see me do this when I'm around people, like groups of people know when she's acting or when she's singing. Mm-hmm. When she does this, they think she's doing something to be funny. kind of like the class clown situation. And they'll go, ha ha, and then look away. She'll now do it. She'll go. She's telling them that they'll see this, and then they'll see her tick, and then laugh, and then you'll see her roll her eyes here. Okay, so they do that. They're kind of like, okay, whatever. She's weird. Right. And when she says, I have Tourette's, they don't really fully understand it, but they understand it a little bit better.
Right.
And so to talk about this is good. She wants to talk about it. And he's going, well, the way that I was kind of coming at it with you is kind of almost poking a little bit of fun at it when I asked about, the fly situation and all that. She's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Most people think that it is something that I'm doing just to be silly. Right. But it's great because I want to talk about it. So now she's describing what it's like to kind of go on stage and do things and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, I'll have tics at different times, sometimes more so than others. The singing part can calm them down, type of thing.
Right.
And other times, not as much. So it kind of varies with her.
Wow.
She's basically, she doesn't understand it herself. That where this cuts off at, it's right where she's going to start. She goes, yeah, I want to talk about this. I find it fascinating because I don't understand it. When it gets to the part where it cuts off. So it's great that she came out like this because she is super well known. She's very intelligent. She's way more intelligent than I ever was at her age. Like, damn.
More intelligent than I am at my age.
Yeah, same. So
wow.
She comes out about that, and it's like, I didn't realize that there possibly is a zinger here on my audio for that, but
well, for those that want to look it up, you can go on YouTube, look up Billie Eilish. What heading do you have there? Probably Billie Eilish and Tourette's, and I'm sure interviews and things will pop up there for you.
Here it is.
Okay. What is that called, though? What is that clip called? Go back to
let me grab the link here. I'll put it into the chat so you all can check it out and hear the audio.
Beautiful.
Okay, there it is. And the clip is called Billie Eilish opens up about her Tourette syndrome. My next guest needs no introduction. Netflix. Still watching Netflix. So that's on the channel it is.
Thank you kindly. So yeah, for those who would like to see that clip, we apologize. We didn't have the audio for that, but you can go check that out. Yeah, and see what she deals with. And actually, this is you know what? You're like the man behind the computer. Do a quick search. How many famous people deal with Tourette's? That we might know that we haven't even known Tourette's. And again, if anybody has any comments, please feel free to leave them here. If you have Tourette's yourself or know with somebody that has Tourette's, we'd love to hear about how you cope with it. More than anything, this show is not just about showing people some of these things that exist out there and some of these other conditions that people deal with, but we also, if we can, to any degree, want to help people find ways. We're not going to cure any of these things, but if we can help you come up with some suggestions for ways to deal with it, to soothe yourself when you're dealing with your situations, we'd like to be able to do that as well. I see Billie Eilish there. Is that Dave Beckham?
That's Dave Beckham.
Holy crap.
I know.
Who would have guessed?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd? Wow.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart?
Wow.
I'm telling you.
I don't know who that is.
I'm not sure who
I'm not.
I've heard of Howard Hughes before.
Right. Oh, yeah. He was eccentric.
Yes. And had tics.
Right.
Amy Grace Harper? I don't know who she is, but wow.
Another musician.
A musician, it looks like, yep. Tim Howard. Michael Wolff.
I'm not recognizing. Mark Summers, I think,
Mark
is an
Summers.
actor. He's an actor, right?
Yeah, television host, personality, suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder. Wow.
OCD is probably one we should do at some point too.
Definitely. My ex-wife had OCD, and it was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very interesting living with her with that.
That would be interesting. I'm interested. I mean, because you only, well, not that you hear it, but when you watch documentaries and stuff, they're about the person and how they deal with it, right? But you don't often hear about the story about the person that has to deal with that person. You know what I mean?
That's true. You don't hear about
they have a whole story too.
So pages and category people with Tourette's.
Man,
so you got all kinds of people here.
I would never have guessed David Beckham, because that's you think.
Yeah.
That's that, and I guess musicians, you think you need body coordination, right? And if you're having tics and things like that, how do you do that?
I know. Respect to those folks, to anybody that has to deal with it. So it looks like there's quite a few of them out there, man. Okay, coming back up.
All right. So as you can see, it's not as uncommon as we may think. That also shows you too that there's people with different levels and severities of it. So that with some cases you may never have even guessed that could have been a thing with them.
Exactly.
Wow. All right. Well, what do you think, my friend? We're coming in. God, we are at 2 minutes left. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's gone by too quick.
This hour always flies by. What are your thoughts? Do you have any final thoughts or conclusions or I don't know? This one's a little bit different.
Yeah, because it's not something we deal with at all.
Right. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are it looks like for anybody that has to deal with it or does have people that deal with it, make sure that you're in a calm, relaxing, comfortable, safe environment from what I can tell on that.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's something that you can just do deep breaths and cause to kind of go away easily and stuff like that. I don't think that would work.
Right. Well, I was just wondering about that because like he says, when people, what did he say? When people don't, what did that little boy say that like help him calm down?
When people understood that he couldn't help it.
Right.
When they didn't understand he couldn't help it, it made him feel stressed.
Right. So stress. Okay, so stress is kind of what we're getting out there.
Yeah. So breathing might help.
Right. I was just thinking,
actually.
Isn't it amazing how, medical science and human beings, we always want to make things complicated. But sometimes the easiest strategies just come down to things that your body does naturally.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing.
Okay, so I guess we have a topic for next week, huh?
I think we do. The
stiff bodies,
stiff person syndrome or something.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me just go back over here.
That's crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what video looks like for next week on this one. We might have to have more clinical documentary type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Stiff person syndrome is what it's called. Wow.
Met says just posted more info in the Facebook chat about it.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.
You need that.
So that'll help us get our research going and started. That's something that we hadn't really talked about when we started the show, and I never really considered the fact I was so the topics we started with anxiety, we started with depression, we started with ADHD, right? Very base common things. And one of my missions when you and I started doing the show, I had always said that, I would like to find examples in popular culture, especially movies that everybody's seen to really kind of emphasize these these different topics. I had never really thought about the fact that we're going to be getting so deep.
See what Metz was saying? She says she has permission to use videos from a friend who has stiff person disease.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
crap, Metzo.
Thank you,
wow.
Metz. And, Metz, if that person would be willing to come on and be interviewed next week.
That would be epic.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Sometimes people don't want to talk about what they deal with. Sometimes people would love to talk about it so that other people could know more about it. Oh, I see the thumbs up. So she's going to try to get permission, I assume. She is pretty rough shape. Okay. Well, as you know, we wouldn't be expecting her to go anywhere. This is an interview from her house or wherever she's at through the interwebs.
She can always just do it with text too. Just where they are in the chat if they don't want to be on camera.
Oh, yeah, that's totally true too.
We always have that option. So she doesn't want to be seen on camera because of the way, maybe she doesn't want to be
identified.
Yeah, or
well, if
in
she's
makeup
giving us videos,
well, I mean, we're going to be seeing videos, but the person when you're, but that way she can have either way that she would be interviewed. That way we could still ask questions.
Right, she's not able to move much in general. Well, I mean, it's called stiff person disease, so I can't imagine it's easy. I hate to say I don't want it to say. I'm excited to learn about a brand new thing, but I'm not excited because I know that these are real world things. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
But I guess the way to say it is I love this show. I'm happy we put this on because I feel like even when there are topics that I have known about, I've learned new things about those topics that I wasn't aware of before.
Exactly.
So I have been grateful for this show. We're going to go ahead and get wrapped up here. John, is there anything you want to say to people before we...
Well, other than thank you for tuning in and partaking in the conversation as much as you have. Thank you.
Thank you. So I definitely want to thank everybody who's popped up in the comments and had conversation with us. We'd love to invite you to let your friends know about this show. Please share this show out. If you've got any friends that deal with any kind of disability, whether it's mental or physical, chances are we're going to be getting around to their topic at some point. But the bigger purpose of this show was to let everybody know that we all deal with something, but that doesn't mean we can't all still be friends and we can't, kind of come out of hiding. We don't have to hide behind our disabilities.
I will hide behind my lightsaber.
That's right. Woohoo! I got my lightsaber too.
Oh, you did? Oh,
but you're gonna be jealous, dude. Check this out. So okay, so
look at that hilt.
This has nothing to do with the. This is a Kyber Cave. This show brought to you by Kyber Cave.
Yes, exactly. Right up here, kybercave.com. Hey, which side? Oh, the other side. Right there. Go to that site.
One-stop shop for all things Saber related. So this was my personal build, right? This is a build that I designed and made a long time ago. But
that is nice.
I'm super proud of this. You see that right there?
Oh, it's got a scar on it.
Yes, it's got battle damage.
That's cool. I love that.
Okay, but wait. Let me light this up. Oh, that's what. It's
got one of those pixel blades in it.
This is a NeoPixel. Yeah, that's a Ghostbusters. This is a Ghostbusters light setting.
Oh, so it's got the plasma beam.
Yes.
That's cool.
Check out the crack.
Oh, that's wicked.
There's a Kyber crystal
in the crack. I love that. Oh, that's so cool.
And when I change the color of the blade, oops.
It changes. Oh, that's cool. I love that. That is so cool.
These buttons that light up here too.
Yeah. That's nice.
Are you guys ready for NeoPixels? We have you supplied and ready at Kyber Cave.
That's nice.
Alrighty. Make sure to check us out here every Wednesday at 5-ish.
yeah, because we do some pre-talk a little bit, and we kind of run over a bit. Sorry.
Right. That's it. And for those that don't know, it's not like John and I are like in the same room or city or
no, we really are. No, really. I'm going to reach over and touch on it. No,
we are in the same country.
Yeah, the same country. That helps. Yeah. No, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Right, and I am out in California. Yeah. So when we do these shows, a lot of times, we kind of work through the week, but we don't even really talk or see each other until right before the show.
Yeah, so we kind of catch up.
All right, y'all. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Please join us next week where it looks like our topic will be stiff person syndrome.
Yeah.
Anything else, John?
That's it.
Okay, well, I guess it's time for me to do this. Peace, y'all. Love you guys. Peace.